We think about the combination of learning management and learning experience and content subscriptions to provide a holistic solution. What I want to do now is introduce Summer Rogers, our VP of Product Management, to show you exactly how we think about this and how it works with Cornerstone today. Summer?
Thanks, Adam. Instead of being the VP of Product Management, I'm going to put on the hat of an L&D professional, and I'm really tasked with making our sales team more effective. And I want to do this in two ways. I want to help them make more meaningful connections with their prospects, and I also want to help them be more resilient, overcome challenges like rejection or maybe a lost opportunity. So I'm here at my learner homepage, and I hope you've all seen this page before. It's the convergence, no pun intended, of push training and pull training. On the left, I have the training assigned to me in my role. And on the right-hand side, I have carousels of recommended learning or training I've saved for later. But today, I want to draw your attention to the playlist that I've been working on. So I'm going to open up a playlist I have in progress that's really focused on addressing these two topics for the sales team. You mentioned Sandler, and that's one of the courses I have in my playlist. We've recently partnered with an industry-leading sales training provider and have really reimagined through a micro-learning lens this content to help our sales teams. Let's take a look at an example of Commit to Transforming Your Sales.
Been to a seminar? You probably got some tips, heard some stories, and walked out feeling inspired to be better. But over time, that feeling fades. You start to forget. In fact, psychological studies have shown that most people forget most of what they learn at seminars within the first 48 hours.
Seminars, and I don't believe seminars work. I think they're fun. I think you get a nice buzz from a seminar, but I don't think anything happens. You can't teach your kid to ride a bike.
Not this conference. You'll remember for 72 hours what happened.
So that was David Sandler. And what I love about this content is it grabs my attention and it really surfaces quickly the value points that we're trying to teach within that micro-learning. Let's go ahead and close that example. So I'm going to go back to my playlist. And the next thing I want to focus on is content that will help my sales team really improve their resiliency. And there's a great course that I found in the subscriptions that we have available to us about how grit can help you grow your career. And this is a course that's done by Angela Duckworth, who did a study at West Point and found that students with greater grit ultimately have greater success. But while that content is great on its own, for the sales team, I'd really like to contextualize it and make it personal to their role and to our organization. So I'm going to go ahead and navigate to our new Create tool, a tool that we acquired when we acquired the Grovo company. So great content, but also comes with a tool that helps our organizations customize, personalize the Grovo content or build their own micro-learning. So here I have that How Grit Can Help course, and I'm going to click Edit on it. A couple things I want to tell you about this Create tool. It's really simple. We've seen a lot of course creation tools, and it's by far the simplest that we've come across. And I want to call out a few of its features. In making it contextual for our organization, we can change the colors, rebrand it, change the text. In the original text, it didn't say Cornerstone, so I'm really personalizing it for our sales organization. And beyond changing the branding and the color, I can add slides, and it's drag and drop, very simple, just like PowerPoint. To make it more contextual, I think it'd be great for the sales team to hear from our CEO.
Summer, seriously, do you have a more recent picture?
Adam, the 90s are coming back, mullets are in. I thought this was a great photo. But if you don't like this photo, I can use maybe a more recent one and insert that in the course. And having Adam tell the sales team, a little bit about his perspective of grit, that grit allows you to apply your self-control to difficult tasks, and in doing so, grow as a person, really personalizes it for our sales team. I think they'd like the other photo, though. If I wanted feedback on this course before I publish it out, I can send a link to other subject matter experts that can really review how I've tailored this course or how I've changed this course. I also can directly publish it from the Create tool. So this means it's updating all the places you can access the training. The Learn app on your mobile device. This is, by the way, mobile out of the box, so anything I build automatically works on any device screen size. And it's instantaneous. So as I publish it, it takes me right to that course console page in the Cornerstone system, where I could add more metadata around subjects if I want to, or I could change the availability. And if you haven't seen this page for a while, again, this is a place where you can really understand the consumption of that training over time. So now I want to round out the demonstration by talking about those access points that a sales rep has available to them to consume this training. And I mentioned the Learn app. Certainly from your transcript or the web application, you can reach this course. But I want to tell you about a new place. And it really is aimed at bringing Cornerstone to where the employees are. In this case, our sales reps spend a lot of time in Salesforce managing their opportunities. Hopefully this page looks familiar to you, but we're not actually in the Cornerstone system. We're in Salesforce, and Cornerstone is delivering a new Cornerstone for Salesforce connector that's available in mid-June. And you'll see here we've recreated the learner home experience. And for the sales rep, what they'll find here is that list of maybe compliance training from the HR department that's due soon, as well as the training that's delivered by their sales enablement team that's really specific to their role. Notice they have all those carousels on the right-hand side and can get to all the courses. Find courses, see the details, and click Launch right within the flow of work from their Salesforce interface. One more aspect of this that I want to call out is the reality that we want to bring the learning to the moment you need it. So if we're talking about helping a sales rep be more resilient, if they lose an opportunity, and they indicate in that opportunity the lost deal, how might we use Cornerstone Learning to surface that suggested training? There's that grit course we just updated, where they can launch it from here and have it be present and relevant in the flow of work right when they indicated they lost that opportunity. That's trigger-based learning. Thanks, Adam.
Thanks, Summer. So what about performance? Performance management's a really interesting area in HR circles. I don't know if I should say that out loud, but the opportunity to manage an employee is done many different ways. Today there's a lot of controversy around what is the right way to share feedback with an employee. Should it be done once a year in a compensatory review? Should there be no reviews at all? And should it be done every day with continuous feedback? Or should we take a cue from where we've been successful in development with agile programming and apply agile methodology to performance management with the idea of 2-week check-ins? Every 2 weeks, we're going to check in with our employee. We actually think all of these things are reasonable, and it's not one or the other. You actually can do all of them. It makes sense that an employee would get feedback from their peers at any time. Anytime they go to a meeting, anytime they give a presentation, anytime they work on a project. It also makes sense that an employee has regular, periodic feedback from their manager in person, via video conference, or on the phone that's documented. And it also makes sense that at least once a year, you're sitting back and thinking about the trend of the employee. Not just a point in time, but rather not just 2 weeks or a month, how are you doing over the last year? Are you getting better? Have you not really improved at all? Are you getting worse? Is there a problem we should talk about? And how does that compare to the other employees so that you can effectively pay for performance? So we think it's not an either or. We actually think it makes sense to do all these things, to drive engagement, to drive transparency, and to help you retain and manage your employees. To do that, we've provided a lot of tools over the years. Crowdsource feedback, continuous succession planning, enabling you to constantly rate the employee at any point in time, not just when you do your annual talent planning, but if you have a meeting and you think, you know what, I didn't like that meeting, I think the retention risk for that employee has gone up, I'm going to update that right now. I didn't realize this employee has such high potential, I'm going to update that right now. Compensation planning in a streamlined way where you get recommendations based on data, based on the performance of the employee, based on the performance relative to everybody else's performance. Having visualization of your data. So we talked about most companies not having good HR data. That shouldn't be any of you because you're all using Cornerstone. And you have the ability not just to get the right data, but to visualize that data with things like Cornerstone View and Benchmark to understand where you are relative to other companies, but also relative to your own organization. How do you quickly understand who are my high potential employees that have been performing well, but are at high risk of loss and have a compa ratio that's under 1? We can do that in a minute from your tablet. And you could take action on that. We have the ability to help you with pulse surveys so that you understand engagement. And we think maybe most importantly, the point of doing all of this performance management is to better develop the employee. So how do you leverage these tools to better develop the employee? Leveraging things like development plans.